Greetings, Lady Shepsa Jones here with your Goddess Love Letter for the week. And I am back. I took a break for a few weeks from doing my Goddess Love Letter. If you are on my email list, then you would have gotten a written love letter from me last week, but I'm back now to YouTube. So I will be doing a video every other week. A video Goddess Love Letter. So I'm very excited to be back and to do this video with you because the Goddess Love Letter this week is really a reflection of what I have learned in my time away, the biggest lesson that I have learned this season. So I'm very happy to present it to you. Goddess, I love you, and I want you to leave what is no longer working. Go where you are well nourished and well paid. I'm gonna say it again. Goddess, I love you, and I want you to leave what is no longer working. Go where you are well nourished and well paid. And for me, this was my biggest lesson this season. I had to make some changes in my life, changes of how I spend my time, who I spend my time with, changes in how, I'm able to receive abundance and prosperity. And what I found is that a lot of times we do not make the change that we need to make. It could be because we are afraid of change. Change is scary. Sometimes we're in a very familiar situation, right? Maybe we're with people, friends, family that we care about, and we are afraid to step out on our own because it would make us kind of stand out. And, what if it doesn't work? But what I found my journey this summer is that we cannot be afraid to leave what is no longer working. And that on the other side of that, once we do leave, very often, what's waiting for us is situations and circumstances and people that will actually really nourish us, that will actually really pay us what we are worth. And we don't have to remain stuck in a situation that is no longer serving us because of familiar ties or being afraid to hurt people's feelings. So we have to prioritize ourselves. So I want to give you 3 tips or 3 things to contemplate, or 3 signs that it's time for you to go and to leave a situation that is stuck, that is stagnant, that's no longer working for you, so that you can go and find a situation, the circumstance, the job, the relationship, the house, the country, the city, whatever it is that is going to feed you, that is going to nourish you. So number 1, here is a big hint that it's time to leave a situation that is no longer serving you. The first hint is that your gifts are not being appreciated. All right, your gifts are not being appreciated. We all have gifts, we all have talent, and we want to be in a place where those gifts and those talents can be utilized. I believe it's actually a crime. There's actually really a sin to have gifts and to have talents that are not being utilized. So sometimes that onus is on us because we're not really, sharing our gifts and talents. And other times we're in a situation that cannot acknowledge our gifts, that cannot acknowledge our talents. I know when I used to be a full-time teacher, and when it was time for me to leave that job, it's because I had gifts and talents that cannot express itself through the situation of that job of being a teacher. I knew I was meant to be a coach. I know I was meant to be a healer. And yes, I was doing that with my students and with the kids. However, I knew the work that I needed to do was with women. And I needed to be able to use all my gifts and talents in a way that worked for me. So I needed to leave that situation of that teaching job so that I could move into an environment that I could express my gifts of leading meditation, qigong, yoga, sacred sexuality, everything that I was studying. And I could use those tools to help other women. All right, so maybe you're in a job where your employer or your boss is not recognizing your gifts, maybe yet you're not being utilized, maybe actually people are trying to hold you back and people are actually trying to have you be in the background so somebody else can be in the foreground. And you are tired of being slighted, you are tired of not being recognized, and you feel very frustrated and angry. So that is happening. That is a sign that it is time for you to leave what is not working and go where you are well nourished and well paid. Okay. Um, Number two, another hint that it's time for you to leave a situation that's not working is that there is no growth, right? Maybe you have been somewhere, you've been there for years, and you feel like you're not growing. Maybe it's a relationship that you feel that you're not growing with your partner. Maybe you have tried to communicate. Maybe you have tried to encourage growth or development, and maybe the other person is not receptive. Then maybe it's time for you to leave what's not working and go to where you are well nourished, right? Where you can actually express the love that's inside of you. I know when I was in my marriage, um, I came to the realization that my ex-husband and I were not on the same level. And I'm not saying that he was a bad person or that I was so much higher than him. We just really wanted two different things out of life. And how I wanted to approach my life and live my life wasn't really in alignment with what he wanted, right? We had different value systems. So for me to stay in that relationship, I would have not grown. And part of why I left is because I knew that I could not become the woman who I needed to be, right? I couldn't grow into the woman I needed to be if I stayed in that relationship. So if you are in a situation that you have outgrown or you feel like there's no opportunity for growth there, then you might need to contemplate and think about, is it time for you to make an exit? And I encourage deep contemplation, of course, but I trust that you will receive your sign if it is time for you to back up. The third way that you'll know it's time for you to leave a situation that's not working is that you are not inspired, right? You're going there, and I'm going to use the scenario for work because a lot of us can relate to that. Maybe you're going there every day and you're just going through motions. You don't want to be there. You're looking at the clock and you're counting down till when it's time to go. You don't wake up every day excited to go to work. You're kind of just going through the motions. And a lot of us settle for that type of life because we think that's all there is. Maybe we don't realize that we're worthy of more. Maybe we don't actually understand how to create more in our life. However, when you find yourself feeling dead inside, when you find yourself feeling uninspired, when you find that you are just going through the motions of your day, then you need to contemplate, is this something that needs to change? Do you need to leave a situation? Do you need to transform a situation? Perhaps, it might not be as dramatic as completely leaving a situation, but it could be that the situation needs to transform. So only you will be able to know what is the potential of that. I know when I was in a former spiritual community, which I was actually in with my ex-husband, I won't name the name, but when I was in this community, I just began to feel like uninspired. I began to show up and, I didn't feel the spirit that I used to feel when I was a part of that community. I actually began to feel trapped. And that is one of my things. I do not like to feel trapped. My life path number is 5. I like freedom. I like to be able to go and do what I want, so I was feeling trapped and I wasn't feeling inspired. So I knew that it was time to go. And in leaving, I was able to explore other spiritual traditions that I still walk with today that are really fulfilling and satisfying to me. And that I'm able to still feel my freedom, but also still have, that structure of and that inspiration of spirituality. Okay. So I just really want to encourage you in this Goddess Love Letter that if you are in a situation that feels like you are stuck and you're not growing, that you need to really contemplate if you need to stay there. You need to go where you are well nourished, where you are appreciated and well paid because you deserve it. A lot of times we'll stay stuck because, again, we're putting other people's feelings before our own, when on the other side, really what you want is there, right? There's another situation, another job, another relationship, another part of your journey that is so much more fulfilling and so much more satisfying, and will actually give you the things that you're seeking, that you're wanting, that you're desiring. So don't be afraid to make that change. I made some changes this summer. And I am so happy that I did. I freed up so much of my time and my energy. I rethought the way that I'm going to do my business. And that's a whole nother video that I'll do. But I'm about, in this season of my life, in this season of being Lady Shepsa Jones, let go, let God it is. I'm about only doing what feels really, really good to me, what feels deeply nourishing, and through which I'll be well paid as well, okay? Because we deserve abundance, we deserve prosperity, we deserve to live a life of joy and happiness, ease. And I had vacation in St. Thomas for a week. I was actually there last week this time, and the beach was just so beautiful. I shared a video about it on my IG, just the beauty of it. And I'm like, yes, I deserve experiences like that. And that requires for me to make certain choices on how I'm going to spend my time. And I'm only doing what feels good. All right. So I advise you to take some time to evaluate how you spend your time, and invite you to go where you are well nourished and well paid. And here are the tips. Again, if you want some help, number one, if you are in a situation where your gifts are not being appreciated or cultivated, maybe it's time for you to go and seek out something else where your gifts can flourish and your talents can be recognized and utilized. Number two, you're somewhere where there is no growth, right? Things feel stuck, they feel stagnant, things are not moving. Number three, you are not inspired. You know, maybe the situation is fine, right? Maybe things are going business as usual, but you are not feeling inspired. You're kind of going through the motions and the monotony of it, and you just kind of feel kind of dead inside, okay? So Goddess, I love you, and I hope you enjoyed this Goddess Love Letter video this week. I'll be back with another love letter video in 2 weeks, but if you want to get my written love letter, make sure you go to my website and subscribe, letgoletathis.com. Because I will be sending out a written love letter. So I love writing too. I'm also a writer, so I love to send written love letters as well when I'm not able to do a video. Okay, so Goddess, I love you. Have a beautiful week and talk soon.